Hi artists! Today we're going to do a drawing using line. You guys have been learning a lot about line. You've been making different kinds of lines, swirly, zigzag, diagonal, bumpy. We're going to put all those together today to make what I call a line landscape. So I'm going to draw, you're going to draw. You're going to watch me on the video, and after I draw, it'll be your turn to draw a line. The first thing you're going to need to do, artists, is get a black crayon and a piece of the good drawing paper out of the drawer. Right. Now you have your paper and your crayon. We're going to put our paper what we call vertically. We're going to orient it vertically. That means up and down the long way, not horizontally. We want it to go vertical. We're going to start by drawing our first line close to the top of the paper. I do what's called the 3-finger rule. So I like to lay my 3 fingers close to the top and put a little dot at the bottom of my 3 fingers so I know where to start my line. I want to draw from edge to the edge of my paper. I'm going to draw a curvy line from one edge of my paper to the other edge of my paper. Now I've created a shape up here. Okay, artists, your turn to draw your line 3 fingers down from edge to edge. Now I don't want you to go ahead of me. After you finish your line, just wait. The next line we'll draw will also go 3 fingers down. So I measure from that first line, put a dot. Now I want to draw a different kind of line. I think I'll do a zigzag line. Now, artists, measure 3 fingers down. Draw your second line from the edge to the edge of your paper. Good job. We're going to do one more line that goes across our paper. So one last time, we're going to measure 3 fingers, do a dot. This time, I'm going to do a bumpy line. There's no right or wrong way to make a line. You could just make a straight line. Make sure your lines are going from the edge to the edge of your paper so you have made shapes in between each line. Now we're going to do some lines going vertically down our paper from the bottom of our last line all the way to the bottom of our paper. I might do 2 or 3 lines this way. So I'm going to start at the last line I drew and I think I'll do a wiggly line all the way down to the edge of my paper. Okay, your turn, artists. Good. Now I'm going to do another one here. I think I'm going to do it like stairs. Or not stairs, but a castle, or just a inside, outside line. And my last line, I'm going to make a dashed line. Okay, after you've finished your 3 lines on the top and your 3 lines going vertically down, you can put your crayon back. But make sure your name is on the back of your paper. And then we're going to get markers to color in with. All right, we're going to keep using lines. We're going to use markers now because we want to create contrast. Contrast is when 2 things are very different from each other. So we're going to use the black line against the colored line to create that contrast. I think I'm going to choose the red marker first. And what we're going to do now is we're going to start from the top of our paper, and each one of those shapes that we made, we're going to fill in with more lines. We're not going to color it in solid. We're going to keep making lines. So when we have our markers, remember artists, we put the lid on the back so we don't lose the lid. And I want you to notice there are two different ways you can make a line. If I use the point or just the tip of the marker, I can make a really thin line. But if I turn the marker over and draw on the side of the marker, the edge instead of the tip, I can make a thicker line. So on my first shape, I'm going to do a pattern. 3 skinny lines, 3 thicker lines. So you could also create pattern. Work very slow, artists. Take your time and make it neat as you fill in that pattern. You could do the same pattern as me. Try making thin lines and thick lines. It takes a lot of practice, artists, so your lines may not be as thin or as thick as mine because this is your first time doing this. But you can try. That's how we learn and grow as artists. So see how I lay the whole side of my marker down and I pull the marker down to make that thick line. And then just the tip, and my pattern is 3 skinny, 3 thick. You can just do straight skinny lines across. But we're going to go slow and fill that whole shape. See how I'm filling the entire shape? That's what, whoops, I messed up my pattern. I was talking and got distracted. So let's go back. 1, 2, 3, thin. Oh, let's make this a thick line. See? No mistake in art, artists. All right, we're going to finish that one. I really like how that looks. Now I want to choose a different color down here. Lid. Hear that snap on the marker? Make sure you hear that lid snap. Put the lid back on. I'm going to choose a darker color now to contrast with my brighter red. I think here I'm going to make my line go across my paper. And I kind of like this wiggly curved line, so I think I'm going to make this line go the opposite and do a curly line, but my curls are going to go down. And then I'm going to do it again because I have more space and I want to fill up that whole shape that I created. I could even do one more right here like this, and inside my triangles, put a few more of those curly lines. Okay, notice I'm not coloring in the shapes. We don't want to color in. We want our lines to go from edge to edge or from one line to another line. Okay, again, close that marker. Now a different contrasting color. I think a light green would look lovely next. I'm going to just keep working this way, filling my paper in with lines. And that's how I want you to work, artists. Keep going, filling your paper in with lines. And I'll show you what my piece looks like when I'm done.